American Indians serve in the military at a higher rate than any other ethnic group, and World War II was no exception. While some 45,000 Indians enlisted in the armed forces, another estimated 65,000 served on the home front. They worked in the wartime defense industry. Women throughout the country were heavily recruited to join the home front effort, with the now iconic Rosie the Riveter and her We Can Do It campaign leading the cause. Women left their homes to go work in factories and shipyards, constructing, welding, riveting, and painting aircraft and boats. Cherokee Nation citizen Ryder was one of these real-life Rosies, who left her job as a teacher in Sequoyah County, Oklahoma, to serve her country in an aircraft manufacturing plant, and later in California shipyards.
I was teaching school at Russia and declared the war. I resigned my teaching position to Wichita to work in the factory up there at Bowie. Was a recruiter up there, getting people to work for the war. So that's when I signed up to go. I went to Boeing Aircraft and worked there as a painter, and I painted the stars on the wings of the airplane. We had a pattern, a tin plate, spray painted. That's where I learned to spray paint. We worked 8 hours. I usually worked the swing shift, which began about 2 o'clock, lasted 8 hours. In the paint department, there were several women, but the spray painters, I was the only woman spray painter. Well, while I was at Wichita, my brother, Emmett, was in California. So I went out there and he was working at Moore Dry Dock. I went there and applied for work and got hired as a painter. And we worked there, and later on we looked for housing. So I bought a house for $150 down and $50 a month, a brand new house. And my brother and his family, and my mom and my sister was out there. They came out there. That's where we lived until I transferred over to Richmond. They call it Kaiser Shipyard. I worked there until the war was over. Back then, everybody sacrificed. We all worked, prayed, cried, laughed, asked about our neighbors, the ones that was overseas in different places fighting for us at that time. We just had a job that we wanted to do and had to do to win the war. We just all helped each other. We was concerned about our other friends and loved ones and neighbors, everyone. We cared for each other. And the victory in Japan was over. Everything closed except the emergency rooms. People went in the street, in their cars, on foot. Everybody was shouting and hugging and kissing and all. Everything shut down, all the work. That was BJ Day. After the war was over, I came back and I went to Southall's unemployment office. Said, well, you can teach school. I was a principal at 2 rural schools. Then I taught the rest of the year I taught at Roland, I taught at Sallisaw. This is my father's original allotment. I was born and raised here. When I married my husband after the war, we came back here and lived. We had cattle all the time. I've always had cattle ever since I've been born. We started a cow herd, and then we got into the horse breeding and horse racing. I used to run the barrel races, and we'd go on trail rides. I never did go on very many long trail rides, but we would. And my husband and I just rode our horses together lots here. He was riding still at 89 years old. My husband and I helped start Blue Ribbon Downs at Sallisaw, first pari-mutuel racetrack in Oklahoma. We'd have match races, side betting. At the beginning, all of our pay was, he'd take us to the cafe and eat. We was all volunteers. I wanted to start a museum. Well, we had the old Judge Faulkner cabin. The Chamber of Commerce had moved in to celebrate our 50th state anniversary. They just abandoned it. It was all dilapidated, and I said, we could get that and start a museum. So my husband co-founded the 14 Flags Heritage Club. Named it 14 Flags Heritage Club because there's 14 flags flown over Oklahoma from the different states from the Louisiana Purchase on.
After 40 years of teaching school and helping to build up the town of Sallisaw, Echo remains a pillar in the Miller Ridge community. At 97, she is still living and ranching on her father's original Cherokee allotment, where she was born and raised.